Good day everyone, and welcome to Valenzuela Live for Mathematics in Grade 6. I am here again, Teacher Marlene Carduce from Constantino Elementary School, your mathematics teacher for today. And we are now in the third week of the second quarter. Our learning objectives for this week are as follows. First, you have to find the percentage, rate, or base in a given problem. Second, is you will learn how to solve word problems involving finding the percentage, rate, and base using appropriate strategies and tools. So basically, our topic for today is all about percentage, rate, and base. But before we begin our discussion, please be reminded to prepare your module, pen, and paper. And to actively participate to our discussion, you can write your answer by typing in the comment box. So for our first activity, I want you to match the following numbers on its equivalent decimal form and fraction form to reveal the hidden picture. So these are the numbers. So all you have to do is to look for the pair of numbers. So you can comment it in the comment box, or you can write it in the comment box. So let's start with the first one. So 1/2, or the fraction 1/2, can be expressed in decimal form as 5/10. So this is the portion of the whole picture. Another pair of numbers, we have 75/100 is also equal to 3/4, or the decimal 75/100 can be expressed in the fraction form 3/4. And another part of the whole picture. Another pair we have 2/5 can also be written in fraction as 4/10. And this is again the part of the picture. And for the last pair, we have 5/100 can also be written in fraction form as 5/100. Very good, grade 6. So there you have it. So as you can see, the whole picture is a picture of the characters from the cartoon series We Bear Bears. So going back to our activity, we express fraction into decimal form or vice versa. But did you know, class, that fractions and decimals can also be expressed in percent form? For example, 1/2, or the fraction 1/2, can be expressed in decimal form as 5/10, and in percent form as 50%. So in changing decimal to percent, you just have to move the decimal point 2 places from left to right and put the symbol or the percent symbol after the number. And we can now get the 50%. Or you can multiply the decimal into 100%. For example, the fraction 3/4 can be expressed in decimal form as 75/100 and can also be expressed in percent form as 75%. By multiplying 75/100 or by 100%. And we will get the product 75%. Another example is the fraction 2/5. So we can express it in decimal form as 4/10, and also in percent form as 40%. So how did it happen? So by changing the fraction with the denominator of 100. So the fraction 2/5, by multiplying 20 both to the numerator and to the denominator, we can get the equivalent fraction of 40/100. Since the fraction has a denominator of 100, we can now write it as percent, and in percent form, which is 40%. And for the last example, we have 5 over 100 in fraction form, which can be expressed in decimal form as 5 hundredths and in percent form as 5%. But what do we mean by the word percent? So percent comes from a Latin word percentum, which means per hundred or hundredths. So that is why percent is a fraction whose denominator is 100. And also, it uses a percent symbol as shown in our previous examples. So let's have a deeper understanding about percent. For example, so this fruit of basket, when taken as one group, represent 100%. So even if there are less than 100 fruits in the basket, still, we can consider this as 100%. So if there are 20 fruits in the basket, this number 20 represents the whole or the entire amount or total. And we call it as the base. So going back again to the fruits in the basket. So if there are 20 fruits in the basket and 5 of them are apples, as shown in the illustration, the number of apples represents the part of the whole or of the whole number of fruits. So in this illustration, 5 apples can be called as the percentage because that is, or because percentage is the number or the amount that represents part of a whole. So if there are 5 apples in the basket, that is 5 out of 20, which can be written in fraction form as 5 over 20 or 25 over 100, whose denominator is 100. So if we just multiply 5 both to the numerator and to the denominator, so we can come up with 25 over 100. Or we can express it as fraction or as percent form, which is 25%. So the number 25% here will be called as the rate, because rate is the fraction whose denominator is 100 and has a percent or has usually a percent symbol. So we can say that 25% of 20 fruits is 5 apples, or we should say that 25% of 20 is 5. So notice that there are 3 different numbers in this statement: 25%, 20, and 5 and 5. So 25% is the rate, which is usually has the percent sign. 20 is the base, which represents the whole or the entire number of something. And 5 is the percentage that represents the part of a whole. So looking closely, 25% of 20 is 5, or 25% multiplied by 20 is equal to 5. Or if we multiply the rate by the base, we can get the percentage. So based on this, we can now generate the formula for finding the rate and the base. So to solve for the base, all we have to do is to divide the percentage by the rate. And to solve for the rate, we just simply divide the percentage by the base. We can also use the Tachan's triangle to help us remember the 3 formulas that I have mentioned earlier. So P stands for percentage, and B stands for the base, and R stands for the rate. So to find for the percentage, cover the P, Since R and B are next to each other, it means multiplication. So to solve for the percentage, we just have to multiply the rate and the base. And to find the base, just cover the B or the letter B. Since P is over R, it means division. So to solve for the base, we just have to divide percentage by the rate. And the last one, to find the rate, cover the R. Since P is over B, so it means division again. So to solve for the rate, we just have to divide percentage by the base. You may also find or solve for the rate, percentage, and the base using the proportion. So one of the ratios in this proportion is always a comparison of two numbers called the percentage and the base, wherein the percentage is the part of the whole and the base is the whole of something. And the other ratio is known as the rate, which is a fraction with a denominator of 100. So let us solve some problems involving finding or solving the percentage, rate, and the base. So let's have this first example. So a survey on 200 children displays that 75% of them have stable internet connections to be used for the school year 2020 to 2021. So how many of the surveyed children have stable internet connections? So in this problem, we are looking for the number of surveyed children that have stable internet connection. So we have the given 200 children and 75%. So 200 will be our base, since this is the total number of children in the problem, and 75% will be our rate. And as you can see, 75% has a percent symbol. So this will be our rate. And in this problem, we are looking now for the percentage, wherein the percentage represents the number of surveyed children that have stable internet connection. So to solve this problem, we can use the formula. So we have here the Tietjen's triangle as our guide. So to solve for the percentage, all we have to do is to multiply the rate and the base. So percentage, or substitute all the values of rate and the base. So percentage is equal to 75% times 200. And then change 75% into decimal form. So that will be 75 hundredths times 200. And then multiply the two numbers, 75 hundredths times 200, and we get the product 150. So our percentage is equal to 150. Another way to solve this problem is using the proportion. So this is our proportion. So again, substitute all the values of the base and the rate. So P, or P stands for the percentage, over 200 is equal to 75%. So as you can see, the rate here, you just have to change it into decimal form. Into fraction form, whose denominator is 100. So percentage over 200 is equal to 75 over 100. And then get the cross product. So P times 100 is 100P. And then 75 times 200, and that is 15,000. And then divide both sides by 100. So P, or percentage, is equal to 150. And we get the same answer. So therefore, there are 150 children that have a stable internet connection. So let's have example number 2. So the city government of Valenzuela found that 7 out of 10 pupils in the elementary department had smartphones. So what percent of the pupils had smartphone? So in this problem, we're looking for the percent of the pupils that have or that had a smartphone. In the problem, our given are 7, which serve as our percentage, and 10 or 10 pupils, which serve as our base. So in this problem, we're looking for the rate because here in our task, we're looking for the what percent. Okay, so to solve this again, you have to solve it using two ways. The first one is using the formula. So to solve for the rate is equal to percentage divided by the base. So substitute all the value of the percentage and the base. And that is R is equal to 7 divided by 10. So 7 divided by 10, that is equal to 7/10. So R is equal to 7/10. Or in percent form, the rate is equal to 70%. How about in using proportion? So let's see. So again, substitute all the value of the base and the percentage. So that will be 7 to 10 is equal to R, which stands for the rate. And then change the rate into a fraction form whose denominator is 100. So that will be 7 over 10 is equal to R over 100. Then get the cross product. So 10 times R is equal to 7 times 100. And then 7 times 100, that is 700. And then divide both sides by 10. So R is equal to 70. So our rate will be 70%. And as you can see, we get the same answer in using the formula and using the proportion. So therefore, 70% of the pupils had smartphones. So let's try example number 3. So here it is. Mang Mario raises 45 hens, which is 25% of the total number of his chickens. What is the total number of chicken? So in this problem, we are looking for the total number of chicken. And also, the given in this problem are 45 hens, which is our percentage, and 25%, which will be our rate. Since we are looking for the total number of chicken, so therefore, we are looking for the base. So again, let's solve it using the formula. So to solve for the base, we just have to divide the percentage by the rate. So B is equal to P over R, wherein B stands for base, P stands for percentage, and R stands for the rate. Then substitute all the values of the percentage and the rate. So we have B, or base, is equal to 45 over 25%. And then change 25% into decimal form, and that will be 25 hundredths. So base is equal to 45 divided by 25 hundredths. So our base is equal to 180. And let's see if we get the same answer if we use the proportion. So again, substitute all the values of the percentage and the rate. So we have 45 over base is equal to 25%. So the 25% here will be changed into fraction form, whose denominator is 100. So that will be 25 over 100. And then get the cross product. So base times 25 is equal to 45 times 100. Then multiply 45 and 100, and we have 4,500. And then divide both sides by 25. So our base is equal to 180. And we get the same answer. So therefore, Mang Mario raises 180 chickens. So let's check your understanding by doing this activity. So all you have to do is to answer the following question within the given time. So you will be given 30 seconds to answer each problem. So if you already know the answer, please write it down in the comment section. So are you ready? Okay, let's begin. So for question number 1, what is 25% of 32? So your 30 seconds starts now. Okay, time's up. Let's see. So 8 is 25% of 32. So to solve for the 8, we are looking for the percentage. So we can use the two different ways. So you can use using the formula or using the proportion. To solve for the percentage, we just have to multiply the rate and the base. So percentage is equal to 25% times 32. And then change 25% into decimal form, so that will be 2500. And then multiply it by 32, and we get the number 8. So our percentage is equal to 8. So the same thing when we use the proportion. We also get 8 in our answer. Okay, so let's proceed to question number 2. Here's the question. What percent of 36 is 9? So your 30 seconds, 30 seconds starts now. Okay, time's up. So since the question is what percent, so we're looking for the rate. And the answer for that is 25% of 36 is 9. So let's see, or let's take a look on how we get the 25%. Using again the two different ways. Okay, so using the formula and using the proportion. So let's take a look at using the proportion. So substitute all the value of the percentage and the base. So our percentage will be 9 and our base will be 36. So to solve for the rate, all we have to do is to divide 9 by 36. And since we are here since we are using the proportion, so you just have to change the rate into a fraction form whose denominator is 100. And then get the cross product. So 36 times r, 36r, and then 9 times 100, we get 900. And then divide both sides by 36, and we get 25. So therefore, our rate is equal to 25%. And it is also the same when we use the formula. Okay, so let's proceed now to question number 3. Here's the question. 15 is 50% of what number? So 30 seconds starts now. Okay, time's up. So in this problem, the correct answer is 30. So 15 is 50% of 30. So how did we get 30? So let's look at the solution. So using the formula, base is equal to percentage divided by rate. So substitute all the values of the percentage and the rate. So that will be 15 divided by 50%. And then change percent or the 50% into decimal form. That will be 5/10 or 50 hundredths. So divide 15 by 5/10 and we come up with the answer 30. So our base is equal to 30. So the same thing when we use the proportion. So we also get 30 as our base. For question number 4, Marian answered 90% of 150 item test correctly. So how many items did Marian answer correctly? So again, your 30 seconds starts now. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is 135 items. So 90% will be our rate and 150 item test will be our base. So how did we come up with the answer of 135? So let's see. So using the formula, P is equal to, or percentage is equal to rate times the base. So to solve for the percentage, all we have to do is to multiply 90% by 150. And then change 90% into decimal form, and that will be 9/10. And then multiply it by 150, and we get 135. So the same thing when we use the proportion. So substitute all the values of the base and the rate. So percentage is equal to 150. Percentage over 150 is equal to 90%. And then change 90% into fraction whose denominator is 100 or with the denominator of 100. And then get the cross product. So P times 100, 100P. And then multiply 90 by 150 and we get 13,500. Then divide both sides by 100 and we get 135 as our percentage. For the last question, there are 220 grade 6 pupils, and on a stormy day, 20% of the pupils are absent. So how many pupils are present? So your 30 seconds time starts now. Okay, so in this problem, 220 will be our base because this is the total number of the pupils or the grade 6 pupils, and 20% here will not be our base because we are looking for the number of pupils who are present, and 20% here represents the number of pupils who are absent. So our rate will be 80%. So to solve for the number of pupils who are present, we just have to multiply 220 by 80%. So again, we're looking for the percentage. So to solve for the percentage, we can use the two different ways. So the first one is using the formula and the other one is using the proportion. So let's look at the using the formula. So percentage is equal to rate times base. So to solve for the percentage, just multiply 80% by 220. And then change again 80% into decimal form, and that will be 8/10 times 220, and the answer is 176. So here, in using the proportion, so we have 220 as our base, so P or percentage over 220, which is equal to 80%. Then change 80% into fraction form with a denominator of 100, and then get the cross product. So P times 100, that is 100P. And then 80 times 220, that is 17,600. And then divide both sides by 100, and we get, again, 176. So as you can see, we get the same answer using the formula and using the proportion. So therefore, there are 176 grade 6 pupils who are present in a stormy day. Okay, so remember class, percentage or P is a number or amount that represents a part of a whole. And rate is a number compared to 100, and it has usually as either a percent sign or the word percent with it. And when we say base, that is the number that represents the whole or the total amount. Okay, for your additional activity, please do answer in your learning packets in Mathematics 6, what can I do, page 10. Here's the copy of your assignment. So again, grade 6, thank you for listening and for your active participation. See you again next time, and God bless you. Bye!